everybody. Welcome to our first episode of the Dealership Download podcast. Tonight, on our first episode, it's just going to be pretty much Zach, myself, and Danny just kind of giving an introduction of who we are. So, tonight, starting us off, we are going to have Mr. Zach.
What's going on, everybody? So, I guess tonight what I'm going to do is we're all going to just introduce how we got into the car business, why we're in the car business, and why we stay in the car business. I got into the car business because I was running heavy equipment and I had an accident. I lost most of the feeling in my left hand. I went from there, started working at Home Depot, did tractor sales, got promoted to full-time sales, in carpet and flooring. And while I was there, I had a general manager come in and buy carpet off of me and say, "Hey, I think you would make a great car salesman." And I thought about it for a little while and took the opportunity. And once that happened, I basically have never left. I left for part-time for a little bit. I went from selling new Chevys, and then the last 8 years, I've been selling pre-owned vehicles at Car Culture in Warren, Ohio, and it has been a great opportunity. In the 3 years that I went part-time during the pandemic, we couldn't get vehicles in, so I sold roofs. I did residential and commercial. I did a little bit of windows and gutters. It was a ton of fun. I had to have rotator cuff surgery, so I got right back into the car business. Been full-time now for it'll be 2 years in July, and I love it. It's something that I always, I would run in customers and sell them pretty much anytime I wanted. That's the nice thing about being at a pre-owned lot is I can pretty much do whatever I want to do. We get a whole bunch of cars. We got opportunities to sell pretty much anything that we can get our hands on, including motorcycles, boats, RVs. We have fun. Um, and that's my whole entire story on how I got in there and why I stay. I love to help people. Being at my pre-owned lot, we do have a lot of special finance customers, and the special finance customers come in, need a lot of help. So what I like to do is, give them an opportunity to get into something, reliable. All of our vehicles come with a warranty. We make sure they're all serviced, and watching my customers that have grown from not so great credit to, being seven, 800s, has just been an amazing passion, because it's so much fun to watch that happen. And that's pretty much the reason I stay. And that's my story. So, besides that, on all the social media platforms, I'm the crazy car sales guy. Crazy if you can't tell. Got a little bit of fun hair going on. My antics, they speak for themselves. You should definitely check it out. Follow me. You might get a couple laughs, have a lot of fun. But I actually know what I'm talking about when it comes to the car business too. I don't like to act like it. I'm the new guy at any point in time, but I've been doing this for about 15 years now. So, besides that, I'm gonna pass it along. So, Taylor, go ahead and take it away.
Hello, everybody. My name is Taylor. I have been in the car industry almost 5 years now. I started in the car industry when I was 20 years old. Didn't mean to even join it, joined it as a joke. Um, I had friends who worked there and they were like, "Oh, why don't you work there? Because we all work there." Went home that night and it was on Indeed and I applied and had some interviews and I started. I actually started in the industry as a BDC agent, moved from BDC into sales, and then I got moved into management. So for the last 3 years, I have done a little bit of finance. I have done some sales manager. I am currently now an exchange director for the Hyundai store that I'm at. In my career, I have been with Hyundai for 4.5 years and Ford for 6 months. You can't tell I'm a Hyundai girly through and through. Um, my why of why I still stay in the dealership and do what I do, I like my biggest why in life is how can I make somebody else better? How can I take somebody who has just started in the industry and show them the great things it can do for them and help promote them? um, within their personal lives, their careers, things like that. And kind of spinning off what Zach says, my personal favorite clients are my subprime clients who come in. You know, they've been told no by everybody. They're just looking for somebody to give them an opportunity. You're able to give them that opportunity, even if it's not the car they want right now. It is a plan to get to the car they want in the next 2 to 3 years. Helping them grow and build that and get to that point, and then they can call me and say, "Hey Taylor, it's been 2 years. What can we do? Come on in. Let's get your car that you want." So that's pretty much sums up kind of what I do. Um, I'm still learning every single day. Um, I mean, it's been an adventure. Can't say it's always been perfect. Anybody who tells you that it's always perfect, it's not. But you stick it out through the hard times, and I promise you, the rewards are greater than the downfalls. And even if you have downfalls, take that as a learning moment, not a failure moment. All my socials are signed with Taylor. That kind of just plays on, hey, you know, signing paperwork because I sell cars, and I'm also fluent in sign language. So that's a big difference that I bring into the automotive industry. And I'm going to pass it on to the Mr. Danny.
Hi, so I am Danny. I am located in Wyoming. How I started in the business, it's pretty funny. The owner called me and said, "Hey, we lost a receptionist. You want to come full time?" So I was going to college at the time, and it didn't really work out. I'm not really a smart guru with books and reading and tests. They make me very, very nervous. But backstory to that, actually, my dad went shopping at the Nissan dealership, and I was looking at a car, and I said, "Hey, I actually want to buy a car." And my dad said, "No, you don't even have a job." So that's when I was going to college. And so the salesman, which he's still there, said, "Hey, if I can get your son a job, can you buy a car?" And my dad said, "Yes." Salesman went and talked to the GM at that time and says, "Yeah, he can be receptionist on Saturdays." So that's how I got my first car, and my actual real job, if per se, is working there. So I was going to college. Owner says, "Hey, do you want to work full time? I know, I don't know how school's looking like." And I was like, "You know what? Like, I'm not a car guru. I mean, I'm not a college guy. I can't really do it much." So I went there. While I was doing that, I wrecked a vehicle while transporting it from Casper to our dealership. And they said, "You got to pay for it." And I said, I just don't have 5 grand." So I left and I started working for Union Wireless, which is a phone store here. Um, and so then at that point, I was working there for a little bit, and then said, "Hey guys, like we need some salespeople." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, I can give it a shot." So went, and now it's just all history now. So I've been back for 10 years now at the Nissan dealership, in sales. And that's the story. I like to, in this community where we're at, there's a lot of Spanish speakers. So I get a lot of repeat customers and stuff like that from the community here. All my platforms on social media is Danny Nissan. So, and the reason why is because, like, oh, that guy from Nissan, sometimes they can't remember my first name. So if they type in Nissan, they'll see Danny Nissan. So it makes it easier for them to search me on Facebook and on, all that stuff, TikTok. So it's been a ride. I love it. You can, when someone said you can make money, but it's not always about just the money. It's about helping the people, right? Obviously, we try to make money to make a living. I'm not saying I'm driving a fancy car or, living in a mansion, not by all means, but it's always, it's enough to make it by, so. And I just love it. And when you get that sale, it's like, yes, I got another one, and it's so happy. You see the customer happy, you take a picture with the customer and they get excited. Just that excitement gets to me, so I enjoy it. I mean, I'm crazy. I bet you enjoy it. That's why you're still in the business, Taylor. I mean, you enjoy it. You're still in it too. So if you have the sales in your blood like we do, you're gonna enjoy it. I've seen people leave and say it's not meant for me, which is, if it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you, right? But we got it, right? Sometimes we're therapists, sometimes we're counselors, sometimes, we got to be police officers and be like, whoa, 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 like let's not fight. But it's always fun because it's always something new in the car dealership, right? There's always something that we have to overcome. So we have to use our brains in a different way, not like college, right? We've got to use our brains in a different matter of how can we get this deal done and how we can make the customer happy. So that's my take. And I'll give it back to Taylor.
So I'm actually going to throw a little wrench in our plans. Zach and Danny, I would like for each of you to give 3 pieces of advice to somebody who is new into the industry or somebody who is considering joining the industry. So Zach, we'll start with you.
So, 3 pieces of advice if you're new or if you are thinking of joining is take an opportunity. If you have the opportunity to jump into the business, try it out. It is not for everybody, but it can be very rewarding. Um, Second piece is just be a sponge. Just learn what you can. Also know that not all the information out there is something you want to hear, and something that you should do. But learn all you can. Learn your product, learn the right words to say, learn your paperwork so that you can make a flawless transition from them to help your finance director to get everything going. And my last piece of advice is have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to love this business. So as much work and effort you have to put into it, always keep the fun factor because I don't want to see somebody jump in here, be brand new, and 6 months later just can't stand it anymore.
Mr. Danny?
Everything in what Zach said, yes. So I'm going to add a little bit to it. So hear something, and if it's not good, throw it out the other side, right? So like a sponge, like Zach said, right? Always be like a sponge. And there's sometimes that you're probably gonna get angry, and at that point, it's like just walk it off. But that's the car business, right? There's gonna be good things, there's gonna be bad things, but you just gotta take everything as a learning curve, right? Because there's some things that I don't even know, and I've been in business a long time, right? No one's perfect, no one knows it all. And if there's someone that does know it all, then I'd like to pick your brain because I want to be as you. But I don't think there's anybody in the car business that says, yes, I know it at all, because I don't think everybody knows it all. There's always something new. It's kind of like back in the day. Not a lot of people did TikTok videos and things like that. It's always growing, right? There's always new ideas, there's always new opportunities. And here's the other thing too, is like you're at the dealership now, there's a couple things they might like. You can try another dealership, right? But always be a sponge, like Zach said. Be a sponge, learn as much as you can, and then you can always take it to another place, just like Miss Taylor over here down here, where she moved to a new state and she's with Hyundai again. So that's my advice for sure.
Couple pieces of advice I can give you. I mean, the first thing is listen to understand, not to respond. Again, listen to understand, not to respond. We're so quick, a client says something to us and we want to just rattle off an answer. Listen to what they're saying to you. They're telling you something with what they're saying. It is like your job to understand what they're saying before you respond back to them. Second piece of advice I can give you is if you do not know something, do not lie about it. Do not make something up. Do not be afraid to say, I don't know, I'm new, but hey, let's go find out together. And ask the questions. Zach took the one I was going to say is be a sponge, but that's the biggest thing that you can do is literally be a sponge. Take all the advice that you're given, I mean, we do TikTok lives pretty much every single night. And every single night, there's just this huge community on TikTok that will teach and teach. I mean, I've been in it 5 years and I have at least 8 to 10 pages worth of notes of just repetitive stuff. Stick to a process. If your dealership has a process that steps, 1 through 10, steps A through Z. Sometimes you may go off the process a little bit here and there, but at the end of the day, follow the process and it will make it so much easier if you accidentally veer off the process a little bit to get back on it. At the end of the day, it's about the client's experience and making sure that they have a great one. You get your referrals back from them. They're happy. They come back to you. They service with your service department.
Correct.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
advice,
gonna
Taylor.
tell
I
you
like
what.
it.
There's one thing that we didn't talk about, especially being new. Once you're new and you get a customer to buy, never be afraid to ask for the next sale. Always, always. They no matter what, they have somebody that they know, a relative, a family member. Never be afraid. It's very awkward when you're at first to be like, "Hey, let me help you out." But I'll tell you what, your follow up, you're talking to them. I follow up with my customers every single 3 months for the rest of their lives once they buy from me. And I do that because I learned from a gentleman that sold life insurance. He has sold my entire family, starting with my grandmother. And my grandmother passed away when 15 years ago, and he's still going strong with my whole family. He calls me all the time. I look at my phone sometimes and I go, "Oh man, I don't have time to talk." But you know what? When I need somebody for life insurance or somebody's talking about it, he's the only person that pops into my mind. And I want to be the only person that pops into somebody's mind when they're talking about cars. You walk down the street, you're sitting, you go to work, that customer is like, "Oh man," they hear their buddy, "I gotta buy a car. Hey, you have to go see my guy." I want to be their guy.
Yes, the guy, the one and only. That's the thing.
Be
So
the guy.
I got a question for all of us now. How did this idea come up for the dealership download? And we'll start with Miss Taylor this time.
So the dealership download. So for those of you guys who don't know, Zach, Danny, and I all met through TikTok. Kind of went lives together all the time, and then just I don't even know how it started, but one day out of the blue, the three of us ended up in a group chat, just Zach, Danny, and I, and we talk all the time, all the time. And there was a live that we were all a part of, and probably one of the most inspiring lives I will say that I've been a part of. We had a whole group of just new people into the industry join us up on the screen. People who were considering joining the business were on the screen in the comment section, just asking questions and being hungry to learn. So we all talked kind of how can we push more on that? How can we expose more and help more, people learn and grow? And Danny kind of spoke up one day and was like, "Why don't we do a podcast?" And sure enough, kind of took it and ran with it. Zach made us the banner. I started the socials, and here we are. Started the podcast, episode 1.
And all I did was watch.
He did. He
You
did.
know what though? I really appreciate you guys, with joining the journey together. I think we're gonna have fun. Um, and we're gonna have some amazing guests on here, and I think this is gonna grow. We just have to believe, and we can achieve things, right? Um, and we can all say we're a little bit shy. I mean, I'm shy sometimes, right? But this will also get us out of our little bubble, probably expand a little bit more, which is going to be amazing. Um, but Zach, what do you think?
I'll tell you what, it was just a fact of, again, like Taylor said, it's not just getting the big guys. And hey, I love to talk to the big guys and the people that have been doing this for years, but this is going to be an awesome platform to talk to the people that are smaller. Maybe they're smaller on social media and they're just starting, but they have a lot of years. Maybe they're brand new into the business, and we're going to get to talk to them and pick their brains because you can learn from anybody. I've been doing this for 15 years. Obviously, each one of us has a different sense of time. And no matter what, that's it. I'm learning, and I will to this day talk to somebody new, listen to their new perspective, listen to what their sales manager's telling them or what their ideas are, and go, "Whoa, that's a good idea. I've been doing this for 15 years. How did I not think of that?" And I keep on rolling with it. And I've used that since the day I started in sales.
And
And I have,
sometimes that new perspective is what we need for,
Mhm.
a little bit of a, I would say, a reality check. Because sometimes you're in it long enough, you get set in your own ways, and then you hear somebody who's just new into the business or you've never met before, and you're like, wait a minute, why haven't I thought of that? Why haven't I done that? And it grows. You grow every single day.
and I have one thing to add to the new salespeople that want to join. Don't judge a book by its cover, because there
A
can be a
hundred
guy
percent.
that rides in a bicycle in the dealership, and you think he doesn't have any money, and he'll end up paying cash for that car. Might even buy two cars. I don't know if it was Taylor Zach that said that once, but don't ever judge a customer of how they look. 100%.
Big advice there. Big advice.
For sure.
Yes, because you'd be surprised.
Yeah,
Because people do it on purpose to see how they get treated. And I've seen
100%.
it. So, but Miss Taylor, what else do you got for us?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's listening in or watching. We appreciate you guys supporting us on our journey, especially on our first episode. We are going to post regularly every Sunday to Monday, just kind of depending on how that week goes. So just make sure you tone in for that, turn into that, whatever.
Turn
You
into
tune in
Turn
for
in
that.
for
Ooh,
that.
Tune in for that. We will be posting regular updates on all of our social media platforms. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all as the dealership download. If you have any questions, you can reach out to any of us. If you guys want to be, a guest on the podcast, please reach out. With that being said, I appreciate everybody and see you all next week.
you forgot one thing, Taylor. What did you
Yeah,
just
you
recently
did.
release? Do you want to share?
So I have a book that is being published. I got the first copy of it. I absolutely love it, and taking pre-orders on it right now. And then it will be for sale on Amazon. It's going to be available as an audiobook, an ebook, a hardback book, and then going to target some retail stores like Target, Walmart, and Barnes and Nobles to start off with.
Good. And we'll make sure we add the link to make it easier for you guys to be able to just click on the link. So we'll put it on all our platforms so you guys can just purchase the book from Miss Taylor.
Yeah,
I
and if you
appreciate you
want
guys.
to pre-order and you don't know one of our handles, just reach out to whoever you know and we will get you connected for that pre-order. And pre-order, let's get this going. We're all excited for this.
I
Yes.
appreciate you guys. I
We'll
really
talk,
do. I really do.
we'll talk to you guys soon.
Have a good night.